How you feel about your twin flame or your soul connection is how you feel about yourself. Hi, I'm Amber. Welcome to my channel, Good Stuff. I'm excited to talk about this today. It's something that I don't come across too often in the community, and I think it's something that's really important to remember. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do, and welcome. So, this is the topic today. How you feel about your twin flame or your soul connection is how we feel about ourselves. When I thought about making this video this morning, an expression came to mind, and I'm going to paraphrase first, and then I'm going to show you one that I actually found online. But usually, if there's something that we don't like in someone else, it's because we don't like it in ourselves, or we don't want to see that part of ourselves. So the expression, or the quote, I should say, that I found. Can you read it? Basically saying the same thing. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. So when I take that even further, I want to expand on this because it's not just things that irritate us, especially in this twin flame connection, but it's pretty much everything that we experience leads us to a greater understanding of ourselves. So I felt guided to make this video today because I did have some other topics in mind that I wanted to discuss, but I was writing in my journal this morning and then this kind of jumped off the page at me, and I knew that this was something that I wanted to talk about. And it wasn't that, well, let me tell you, when I was writing in my journal, I think I already said this, but it was like I had an epiphany as I was writing, and it just stopped me. And it wasn't that this concept is new to me. I've understood that how I feel about my twin flame is how I feel about myself, and vice versa. Like, how I feel about myself is ultimately how I feel about the soul connection as well. It works both ways. So that wasn't a new concept, but I think I had gotten away from it. So what do I mean by that? Well, those of you who are having a twin flame experience or even an awakening, have you ever said things like, I don't want this anymore, I didn't sign up for this, I want this to stop? I know that those are things that I have felt from time to time. It's something I even experienced just the other night. It can get really, I don't even think frustrated is the right word, because it's just more of, it's just such an emotional feeling that can come over you where you just feel like, I want this to stop. How do I make this go away? And in this experience, if this is the experience you're having, that's kind of the hallmark of it, is that you can't make it go away. It's part of the process. Everything is part of the process, and nothing you can do to force it will make it go away. And that's kind of what I'm getting to, the point I'm getting to with this quote too, and this thought, this concept that what we that how we feel about our twin flame or soul connection is how we feel about ourselves. In essence, when we say that we don't want this anymore or that we want it to stop, what we're actually doing is we are refusing love. It's like we're trying to block our hearts from feeling, but actually, the very act of trying to block and trying to fight it is what hurts. So it's not necessarily the emotion itself that hurts, it's the blocking and the fighting that hurts. And I'm not saying that if you are, oh, I am kind of saying that, because that is really what's ultimately hurting us, is the fighting of the feeling, the fighting, the emotions, the disallowing of them. That's what is actually painful. The emotion itself is usually not as painful as we think it is or it's going to be. And so it's more the fighting and the disallowing of our feelings that's really hurtful. And it's not something that you ultimately can't block. That's why it will keep coming up. And I think about the sun coming into a car window. This might not be the greatest example, but it does illustrate the point a little bit. If that sun's coming in, we might turn our visor to block the sun, or we might put our hand up. But the sun is there. The sun is always light. It's always shining. It doesn't go away. And it's actually love. And it's there to give us warmth. And it gives life. So by blocking or by trying to block our pain, we're also blocking the love, the light, the warmth. So it might sound a little crazy logically, but when you actually have the experience of releasing and just letting something in, then you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so the love just does rush in. It's just there, just waiting to like flow in into your experience when we stop trying to block. So it's really our ego or our mind that is fighting with our heart. The ego doesn't trust the heart, basically, if you want to think of it like that. So the mind is always coming up with solutions or reasons why something doesn't make sense, or something seems silly or stupid, or why, just basically has a lot to do with trust. And the heart is all of those things automatically. And the way that you know if it's your ego is because those things that are fighting the heart are going to feel false to you. That's where the pain comes from. It's because it feels so false to who you really are that it's painful. It's like it's not a match. You know, your ego is here, your heart is here. It's not aligned. Your heart is already love. It knows love. It is love. It loves all. It loves self. It's already, it never stops doing that. It's always those things. And it's our ego or our mind that tries to interfere with that. And so basically, my point is that this is what's happening sometimes. This is what makes that statement true, is that how we feel about ourselves is how we feel about our twin flame, or how we feel about our twin flame is how we feel about ourselves. Because whatever we're blocking, whatever we're disallowing, we're really directing it toward us, toward our connection with ourselves, toward our connections with source energy. So when we disallow this process to unfold as it should, this twin flame experience or this experience of spiritual awakening, when we try to fight it, when we're trying just not to allow it, the organic process of it to wonderfully unfold, we're rejecting ourselves. And that can be really hard to hear. If it's difficult for you to understand, this might not be resonating with you right now at this moment, but I know for me, the first couple of times I was told something like this, it immediately resonated with me, and it was like a light bulb went on and I got it. I said, "Oh my gosh, that's it." And then it's so exciting because then you want to make sure you don't do that anymore. And of course, it's a process because, like I said, I had the epiphany again, even though I had already come to this understanding. Writing in my journal made it quite obvious to me how I was blocking connection to myself because of the feelings that I have as I go on this journey. So let's go back to that quote again. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. So let's rephrase that for this twin flame experience or a soul connection experience, whatever words you use. But everything we think about our twin flame we think about ourselves. Everything we think about ourselves, we think about our twin flame, or we feel, I should say. Whatever we are vibrating with or sending out for them is coming back to us. And this just works with humanity in general. Definitely feel the immediate repercussion of not connecting to ourselves. And as you know, this journey, I'm a coin, this journey is like two sides to a coin. One side shows you how to love yourself in ways that you never knew you could. This love lights you up and it fills you with an amazing bliss. And like I was saying, it's a connection to you. That's really a connection to yourself and a connection to source energy that you're feeling. And then the other side of the coin is the triggers. So it can be the things and another person that trigger you that make you uncomfortable. I like to put it that way rather than to say it irritates us or I want this to stop, make this go away. It's really just because we're uncomfortable. And on the other side of that discomfort is love. So one side is fear and one side is love. And we don't have to leave this up. Oh, I missed. See if I can get it. We don't have to leave this up to chance as to which side we're going to get. We can choose. We can choose. So we don't have to flip the coin. We can say we want love. It doesn't mean we're never going to experience fear. That's part of the point of this discussion too, is to realize that we're going to be triggered sometimes. We're going to feel it. But we don't have to run away from it, because think about this, every time we try to run away from the fear, we are running from ourselves. You're not actually running away from your soul connection. You're running further away from you. I'm running further away from me. And ultimately, a big part of this journey is to come back to ourselves. We can't do that if we're running away. So I just felt guided to make this video because I needed this reminder as well that it's okay. We're going to have days where we're on the one side, we feel some fear, but know that love is right there. It's right there, and it's always there, just like the sun. So it doesn't matter if we want to put our hand up, the sun's always there. The light is always there. I hope this video was helpful. Share it with people who you think would benefit from it, because it isn't just for people who are having a twin flame experience. I think it just can apply to anyone, probably especially to those having this soul connection experience or experiencing a spiritual awakening, because awakening can also at times make you feel like you're going a little crazy, and you can have the same battles with your ego and your heart doing some battling because the mind doesn't understand what's going on in that process either. But just know that you're not alone and that this is normal. It's all part of being human. Choose love. Thank you for watching. I hope that this information was helpful. I hope that it leads you to a greater understanding of yourself. I know that I'm learning new things about myself almost every day on this journey. So keep choosing love, guys. Peace.